You are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the College Loop Podcast, episode 109 of the College Loop Podcast, and day 3 of our Game Week weekly special. That's all going to be leading up to a very, very special Thursday live stream. That's going to be very fun to watch and very fun for y'all to interact with everybody that's going to be on there. Tarr, are we ready to tell everybody what's going to be on there? Or should they just go to Twitter and go?
No, I'm already out right now. We've got a star-studded, jam-packed lineup that you don't want to miss on Thursday. We're going to lead things off with Jonathan Conley, our group of 5 analysts here at the College Loop. He's going to be talking UMass for the first 10 minutes, and then at 7:15, we've got Vince Wilfram. He'll be talking quarterbacks. Ike is going to be talking about breakout players. Mike G, receiver room. Dustin from the Up-Tempo podcast is going to be talking front 7. Blake from Up-Tempo, DB Outlook. Jacob Hillman from AU Sports Network will be on the show talking stat leaders in 2023. Jacob Waters of the Auburn Plainsman, top 5 most important games. And Zachary Card of who knows what Auburn Student Media at this point. I believe Eagle Eye TV still will be joining us and capping it off at 8:30 talking about Auburn's floor and ceiling. And then after that, we're going to be fielding questions from all of our viewers and listeners and beautiful people of the College Loop. Colin, Daniel, I'd ask you guys how you're doing, but I know y'all are pumped for this week. So the vibes got to be high. And
yes, they're high.
Good. Daniel, vibes are high?
Oh, vibes are in the sky.
I'd love to hear it. Let's make the vibes even better, and let's bring on our first guest for today, Mr. Noah Griffith of the Auburn Plainsman, formerly of the Opelika Observer, and I believe at this point, Noah, a personal friend of Paul Finebaum.
I mean, we're getting there. He texts me every other day. So
oh yeah, just flex on us a little bit, huh? Why don't you? I'm going to take that as truth, and we're going to roll with it. I'm going to start the rumor mill. Noah, how are you doing, my man? It is so good to have you back on the College Loop.
I'm doing great, man. I'm ready for Saturday. I can tell you that.
Football is here, my friend. We are all ready for Saturday, and this is going to shock you, but we're talking Auburn football right here on the College Loop podcast. So we're gonna open this one up. Noah, first and foremost, your last semester as a student at Auburn University, and I'm going to open it this way. How much are you just trying to soak every moment in? Because even the buzz of campus that week leading up to the first game is something different.
Yeah, I mean, the difference from last year where everybody was just like hoping for not the worst, not a disaster, to this year, like actually having some hope of winning a winning season. Yeah, it's a lot more buzz than there was last year. I think it'll be fun to see how it plays out.
We're certainly excited to see how things shake out, and excited for you and Colin both to enjoy your last seasons as students. Soak up every minute. My last game as a senior was the Auburn Alabama overtime debacle with TJ Finley. So I really don't wish that upon anybody. But I think you guys are in much better hands. I'm going to open up the discussion here first, Noah, and then I'm going to throw it to Colin, Daniel, Dylan. We're going to kind of pick your brain about this 2023 squad. First year of Hugh Freeze. Peyton Thorne's your starting quarterback. He's been named a captain. I know Dylan's going to touch base on that here in a minute and make sure we cover those bases. What is your overall outlook and players that you're looking to really have impactful seasons, whether they're already proven guys or unproven guys going into 2023?
Yeah, I would say number one would be Keldrick Fogg. You're trying to rebuild those trenches this year, and that's the guy I think can do it for you. He's going to be a monster getting after the quarterback, and that's going to be tested from week 1. I feel like facing a dual threat quarterback. I think he had 100. UMass's quarterback had 100 rushing yards and over 200 passing yards last week. So that's going to be tough from the start. That's one. Big on defense. And on offense, I'm excited to see who will break out a receiver. Like everyone else, I'm kind of hoping Shane Hooks is not just all talk. There's a lot of hype about him. But at the same time, I went to SEC Media Days last year, and I came home thinking Coy Moore was the best receiver in the world. and that didn't quite play out. So I'm excited to see if the hype is for real this year with him.
Coy Moore, my boy. I'm telling you, watch my boy Coy Moore. He's gonna do some special stuff this year. Gentlemen, the floor is yours.
I like it. Yeah, I think he could. I think he could still break out this year. I don't think it's over for him after last year.
It's not too late. Trust. Dylan, go ahead. I saw you were about to jump in.
Tarr, you're about out here selling that Kool-Aid for Coy Moore. And I don't even think he's listed as the third string wide receiver behind Jair Shorter and Amari Kelly.
Trust. He's going to get reps on Saturday, though. He's going to get reps on Saturday.
Everyone's going to get reps on Saturday. You've established that.
I'm telling you, it's not over for him.
As long as he doesn't throw the ball like it's.
As long as he don't get the ball stripped out like he did against LSU again, if that ever happens again. Oh, boy. But you brought up the captains, and it was an interesting list because you have there's 2 transfers on here in the captains list. I mean, you have Cam Stutz and Luke Deal, who Luke Deal's not even a starter, and he's listed as a captain. That just shows that his impact on the team. But Elijah McAllister and Peyton Thorne both becoming captains after, of course, transferring in from different schools. But I mean, I think that pretty much sets us all that Peyton Thorne is the dignified starter, at least for week 1. The bare minimum.
Well, are these captains just for week 1, or is this the whole season?
This is the year.
Yeah. So I think you'll see a little bit of Peyton then.
Yeah, I think that seeing a little bit of Peyton is probably an understatement. Yes.
I still think that Robbie Ashford is still very much in the cards. I know some people that comment on the show don't think as highly of Robbie Ashford as I do, but I'm here to say that I fully believe what Robbie Ashford can do, and I'm looking right at the camera when I say that too.
I learned my lesson about commenting on Robbie Ashford things. I just get my mouth shut this time.
You know what? I don't want you to mute your mouth. I want to hear your thoughts on Robbie Ashford's role on this team and how he fits in. Is there a world where Robbie Ashford is a starting quarterback by the time this thing's all said and done? Noah, I want to hear what you think.
My predictions are that will be the case. He's a guy that his skills are so much elevated in live game. I think he's going to really benefit from getting reps the first 3 weeks and you don't have the toughest competition the first 3 weeks. If he can get in the game and show off his skill set, which I think he will, that's just going to make the coaching staff look back to him down the stretch.
Vindication is the word I want to use there.
And especially with that new line group, once they get settled in, I think he's really going to thrive back there.
I think that is certainly on the table, and the hand's not folded for Robbie Ashford yet either, folks. That's certainly not the case. Colin, I'm going to let you or Daniel go ahead and rock paper scissors this one out for what we're going to hit Mr. Griffith with next.
Okay. I'll let Daniel take it. I stole from him yesterday.
You sure did.
That's so sweet of you. So, Noah, what do you think some strengths are and some weaknesses are for this team?
I think the big strength is the secondary. You have studs back there, veteran guys. Nehemiah Efforts to Jalen Simpson. And then you have newcomers like Kayan Lee. I think they're going to be one of the stronger secondaries in the SEC, which is a glaring strength for them. Another strength, I think, will be the run game on the offensive side. You have several good 1-2 punch with Hunter and Damari Austin, but you also have, you have multiple guys you can go to there and who can do different things for you out of the backfield. Weaknesses, I think, like I mentioned, I really want to see a go-to receiver step up. You have several tight ends who can catch the ball, but I want to see WR1 step up. So yeah, that's my weakness until I see otherwise.
Noah, you mentioned the DB room. We had Jacob Goins, ESPN of ESPN 167 on yesterday. You're acquainted with Jacob, good dude, great guy, good, knows ball. He mentioned that there are a number of guys in that Auburn DB room that are going to be playing football on Sundays.
Yeah.
I think there's more that can be playing. Tell me if I'm overreacting or not and where you stand here. I think that of that entire DB room, I think that there's a majority of those guys that can and will play on Sundays. Am I overreacting there?
I don't think you're overreacting. I think Nehemiah Pritchett's a log to, I don't want to say a log to go first round, but he could go. I could definitely see him going first round in the draft this year.
Noah's cooking right now.
I don't know. And then another guy I really like that kind of flies under the radar for most, I feel like, is Donovan Kaufman. I really feel like he's just a quiet leader back there. He always comes in with the timely hits. One thing I do want to see more from those guys this year is turnovers. They didn't win the turnover battle till week 7 or something like that last year. I want to see DJ James. I know he had a lot of near picks last year. I want to see them, especially in those first few weeks, get their hands on the ball.
Winning the turnover battle, so important. And this DB room's got to be the lead of the charge. You know what? I think you're absolutely right. We know what DJ James can do. I have been Nehemiah Pritchett truthing for a very long time. I say it almost every single show. I'm so glad to hear you say that you think that he's not necessarily a lock, but very likely to go in the first round of the NFL draft. I told Jacob Goins yesterday, I think he's going to be all SEC at the end of this year. I think this is one of the premier DB rooms in the country. Dylan, I know that you're about to chime in, but I also want to kind of expand kind of on the other side of the ball. Noah mentioned for a moment there briefly about the running backs being a strength. Is this the best and deepest running back room in the country, Noah? It has certainly got a claim. It has an argument.
I would go as far to say is in the country. Damari Alston is a guy he runs really tough and really physical, but he's not exactly proven. He had under 100 rushing yards last year, so I really want to see it happening against top competition. But I think that's a group with a high upside. And Jeremiah Cobb, if he can play into that as well, I think a lot of the younger guys will benefit from reps. And like I said, a lot of those O-linemen are coming in are transfers. Once they kind of gel and mesh together, but you got to gel for the Georgia and LSU games. That's really going to force you to come together as a team. And I think down the stretch, we're going to see some different guys touch the ball for them, and it is going to be one of their deepest positions.
Yeah, and don't forget my boy Brian Battie or Sean Jackson.
Yeah,
I mean, just dudes on dudes that can just step up and run physically. Dylan, I'm gonna let you go in there before Colin hops in.
Yeah, I was going to backtrack back to the DBs for a second because it's worth mentioning when you talk about turnovers in this defensive back room, how good Ron Roberts has been at producing turnovers with his defense. I mean, you go back to 2021 when that Baylor defense won them the Big 12, and they had 19 interceptions that year. And that's Ron Roberts. That is now the defense that Auburn will be running, the 4-2-5. And you're introducing that scheme that's very deep defensive back or friendly. There we go, like user friendly, DB friendly. And you're going to go into a league that's they want to pass the ball. I know we have some teams that want to run the ball a lot. Ole Miss, Arkansas, and A&M sometimes. They'll do a little bit of both. And Georgia, I don't know if they'll run the ball as much with their running back issues they've been having. But Alabama is going to want to pass the ball more so than not. Mississippi State is still running an air raid. And I mean, all these teams are going to try to do something different. Lane Kiffin, he's going to use Quinton Duncan so much, but he's going to enlist Jackson Dart's arm talent for what it's worth. And when you have team players like DJ James, Nehemiah Pritchett, Kyan Lee, Champ Anthony, Jalen Simpson, who spoiler alert, thinks is going to lead Auburn interceptions this year, and Zion Puckett, if he's developed well, I think he has because he's the starter going into the season. I think you're going to have a season where Auburn can actually force turnovers in the air, win 50-50 balls. And DJ James, I mean, he's already been a master class at batting the ball down and almost catching it. But I think he could turn a lot of those. It's like when we talk about going back to Ike Irish turning doubles into home runs. Can DJ James turn PBUs into interceptions?
That was a hell of an analogy. I like it, but it was a hell of an analogy. Mr. Beyersdorf.
So what about the last starting DB we've not mentioned, Keontae Scott? I feel like you can't overlook him, especially after he beat out Donovan Kaufman for the starting spot at Star. This is a JUCO guy that came in here last year and really improved as the season went on, as most of our DBs did, especially after the firing of Brian Harsin. But this is someone that will be impactful not only at Star, but he's going to be returning punts. So he's got impact all over the field here, and I'm sure he'll be playing on kick return and all that. So just big impact from a JUCO guy, which you got love to see.
He's going to get a lot of opportunities to return footballs because I'm telling you right now, folks, gentlemen, if I'm a head coach of anybody playing Auburn, I'm looking at my kicker and saying, don't kick the ball to Brian Battie. Keep the ball away from that dude.
And I think inverse. Kick it right to him.
Yeah, Dylan's actually going to start reverse psychology. He's going to start gaslighting people into thinking Brian Battie was the anti All-American last year, kick returner. Yeah, there's going to be plenty of opportunities for Keontae Scott, and I'm actually glad that you mentioned that, Colin, because we'd be remiss to mention his development. Like you said, this DB room, Noah, the reason I'm so high on them, not just off talent alone, if you go back and you watch post the firing of Brian Harsin, and if I've said it once, I've said it a million times, this DB room was flat out good last year. They all got better. And it's almost like when there's a complete shift within the schematics from the top, it frees up guys to play. Well, they were playing the freest football they've ever played in their lives and probably ever will play again. But it gives you the opportunity to actually not feel like you're compartmentalized and limited in terms of what you can do. We're not out of this world crazy for thinking this could be an upper echelon, if not best DB room in the conference, right?
But I don't think so. I think you might be spot on with that.
I mean, we know Georgia's got dudes. We know that for a fact. LSU's kind of an interesting question mark there. A lot of unproven guys in that secondary, but LSU, I think a lot of us think can be very, very good, potentially win the West. So we'll see how that shakes out. Colin, did you have a follow-up for Mr. Griffith?
I guess maybe this is open to Noah first, but the whole group, floor and ceiling for this season for these Tigers.
Yeah, I feel like I'm about average on this. I would say the ceiling would be 9 wins, probably. And this does not include a bowl game, so 9 regular season wins. I think the toss-ups in the schedule are probably A&M and Arkansas. For me, if you win those 2 games, I could see them getting 9 wins. If you lose those 2 games, you're at 7 wins. And I would say the floor is probably 6 wins.
Is a 6-win season a failure? Noah. I may have stumped him, guys.
That question really, this season is all about building. It's about taking steps out from last year. Not one step, but multiple steps. And to do that, I wouldn't necessarily base it on the win total alone. It's about building momentum against those rivals and taking a step up in the division. So I think you need to be those Mississippi teams and not be at the bottom, be a bottom feeder in the SEC West. And you've got to compete. compete. I don't think it's realistic to think we beat Alabama or Georgia, but compete in those games. We're going to have recruits at those games that need to think there's a reason they can come here and flip the script and hopefully get us to the top of that food chain in the SEC. So it's about flipping momentum. It's about taking steps forward, even if you don't necessarily get W's in every game, I think.
I like that answer. Colin, I'm only nixing this for the rest of everybody else because we're going to talk about this on Thursday, even though some of us decided we didn't need to be on the stream Thursday. That's all right. Apparently some people have to work. I am going to throw out to you real quick, Noah, before we let you get out of here. If Auburn were to pull off one upset this year, and that does not include the Ole Miss game.
Okay.
When I say one upset, I mean of Alabama, Georgia, LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Who is Auburn most likely to upset in 2023?
Out of those three, I would have to go with Alabama.
Okay.
Y'all know the vibes. I mean, they don't. It's based off of vibes, and they don't have that guy quarterback. They're unsure about themselves right now. They don't have a Bryce Young to make it 98-yard drive in the last minute of the game. So if Auburn's defense can play like they did in the 21 Iron Bowl, I think you come out with the win.
I love it.
I'm not predicting that will happen, but I think it's definitely a possibility.
I love it. Noah, tell everybody where they can find you, love you, support you, watch you as a recurring guest on Paul Finebaum at this point. Tell everybody where they can go support you.
Yeah, so I'm actually with the Plainsman this semester for my last semester at Auburn. I work with Daniel in the news section, but I'll also be doing some sports stuff still, of course. It's always going to be where my heart lies in the sports section. I'm doing some high school football coverage for the Black Observer.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Little Braves today, no?
Oh, yeah, Braves today as well. I'll be doing some coverage here and there for them throughout the rest of this incredible season, which I think I'm just waiting for the moment Acuna hits 30-60. It's coming. So,
It's coming. It's coming for sure. Noah, thank you so much for joining us today, folks. If you haven't already followed him, what's your Twitter handle, Noah?
Noah GG01.
That's right. Make sure you go follow him on Twitter. Check out all of his written work. One of the most talented journalistic minds at Auburn University. We've got 3 of them in this call right now. So certainly a pleasure speaking with you. We will touch base with you soon. Enjoy your first home game as a student. Enjoy the week. Make sure you take care of those academics because gosh knows someone's got to keep up the slack for Colin and Daniel. So without further ado, we'll let you go. We will talk to you soon, my friend. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate y'all. Thanks for having me back.
That was Noah Griffith of the Auburn Plainsman joining the show today. Guys, that was a ton of fun. Colin, that one had me feeling a little loopy after that interview. I feel a little loopy. How do you feel?
Just a little loopy. I mean, I'm feeling pretty loopy. I don't know about you.
Daniel, is there a T-shirt we could possibly purchase somewhere in this universe that could help us depict how loopy we're feeling? Daniel?
Yeah.
So you can head over to thewarreport.com and get this amazing t-shirt in 5 different colors, like 3 different grays. There's a black. There's like 2 different blues. Man, this is the shirt. It's very, very comfortable. 10 out of 10 proctologists recommend. It'll get you going good on the other end.
I love it. I love it. Make sure you can check that out at thewarreport.com or pick it up in the link in any description of any way you are watching this or listening to this podcast. All right, guys. Noah Griffith absolutely rocked the house. We're going to keep rocking it. We're about to bring on a dude who knows Cruton better than anybody in this arguable universe, sources are saying. And we're going to talk a little bit about how Hugh Freeze is doing on the Cruton Trail and his expectations for 2023 and the Auburn Tigers. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stream, Mr. Caleb Jones. Scoob, as we know him. Caleb, how we doing today, my man?
Man, I had to get right with the nickname there, and just for you guys.
No, I loved it. I love that it's Caleb in quotes Scoob Jones. I will refer to you exclusively as Scoob, as I have done in more than one press conference. So
That's how you do it, I guess. So
we'll move forward. All right. I know that you've not talked at all about Auburn football recently, so we decided to reach out to you.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
And wanted to touch base with you a little bit here. We're going to talk at the end of this, while we've got you, about what this 2023 season looks like. But I wanted to open it up first. You're the recruiting guy. You're the guy we come to. You're my only trusted recruiting source. And you actually crystal balled me to Auburn when we were in high school before we knew each other. Crazy but true. Anyways, I'm firing up all kinds of rumors right now, Caleb. It's crazy. Let's talk right now. You've been spending time out on the Friday Night Lights trail on the high school football grind. Which, folks, if you've never done it, Daniel gets it. I get it. Caleb gets it. Friday night football coverage, Friday Night Lights is a different monster, and it is an exhausting entity and also a ton of fun. Talk to us about some of the guys you've been able to go watch, and some guys that you're really, really excited to see come onto the Plains in terms of how special they could be as collegiate football players to this point in that class of 24.
Yeah, well, you're right about one thing, and covering high school football and going to all these games is definitely a grind. I've consumed just despicable amounts of Taco Bell at like 2 a.m. over the last couple of weeks. So
your stomach hates you.
Oh, dude, it's terrible. I'm setting myself up for a horrible life. But no, I think I've seen 2 games so far. I traveled last Thursday. I traveled to Opp, Alabama, which is very south of Montgomery. It's about 2.5 hours from Auburn. That was
It's
fun
also
drive.
the home of the Rattlesnake Rodeo.
It is home to the Rattlesnake Rodeo. That's one thing that I learned about Opp down there. They got a cool stadium. They were playing Andalusia, who's their crosstown rival. And Andalusia has this guy. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. His name's Jamarian Burnett. He's committed to Auburn. He's a running back. He didn't play that much because Andalusia kind of whooped Opp's tail a little bit. But in the quarter that Jamarian Burnett did get carries, I saw a lot of good things from him. He's got a massive build for a running back. He's 6'1". He's fast. He can accelerate. He's got like the same build like Tank Bixby. Like if I'm looking at recent comparisons that I could make, he's 6'1" is kind of big for a running back, I think, but he definitely has that SEC frame that you kind of look for,
Sure. Also, a fun fact about Opp, Alabama, that is the hometown and birthplace of one Lisa Tarr. Just throwing it out there.
I think Justin Ferguson's from there as well.
Is he really?
I believe so. I don't quote me on that. He commented something when I posted that I was in Opp, and I think he is from Opp. I don't know, but
all right. I'm not gonna get the what's it called, the family whatever it is where you can find out who you're related to, because if I find out
Ancestry.com.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, Ancestry.com. And I find out Justin Ferguson and I are like 18th cousins. Like that's on the table, and that'd be kind of weird to find out. So,
hey, you never know.
Any other names that you've been able to go watch or kind of in person that you've been impressed with, or guys that are on your radar coming up that you're gonna get to watch this week?
Yeah, I last Friday I got to go see Malik Autry and Opelika play Thompson, and the scoreboard says Thompson won 44-13, and you may think, oh my gosh, they of slaughtered. Opelika held in there pretty good. It was just their offense really wasn't, able to do much of anything, and so I think Opelika's just defense was just gassed by the second half, and that's kind of when Thompson took over. But Malik Autry, Auburn's 2025 commit. He's a defensive end. He was definitely the biggest guy out there on defense, and Thompson did a good job of kind of keeping him as you could tell that Thompson had game planned as this is the guy that we have to block and protect Trent Seabrook from, because he's a big dude. He's lining up there, and it's like I said earlier, that he's only a junior, but he's bigger than everybody else on the field. But yeah, it's going to be interesting kind of see how he develops along the way, especially just because he's still got some time. He's a junior this year. He'll have a senior season. obviously, and everything like that. As far as some guys that I'm going to see, the plan was to go watch TJ Lindsey and IMG Academy play Thompson on Thursday, but that's not going to happen anymore. That game's been canceled due to travel issues with IMG Academy and of course the hurricane that's kind of happening there. So instead, I think Thursday I may go check out a 2025 prospect named Zion Grady, who plays down at Charles Henderson High School in Troy. He's going to be a big name to kind of keep an eye on down the road. And then Friday, I'm going to go watch Amon Lane and Moody take on Sylacauga.
Very nice.
My family, aka my father and my grandmother. So gonna try and go watch some quality football and then get some quality family time in as well.
There you go. A little bang for your buck there, huh?
Oh yeah, but the
Right.
plan is going to be I want to spend as much time on the road as I can this fall. So the plan is to see as many Auburn commits as I can this year. So Thursdays and Friday nights are looking pretty booked up for me. So it's gonna be fun.
I imagine that you are running on caffeine and Taco Bell, like you said.
Oh yeah, Rain energy drinks. They're not sponsoring me at all, but Rain energy drinks have kind of been my go-to. And then I get home and I'm just so exhausted, but there's Taco Bell, so I know I need to eat, so I eat the Taco Bell, and then I go home and I wake up and I say, "Oh my God, that was terrible! I'm never eating Taco Bell at 2:00 in the morning ever again." And then I do the same thing that the following night. So,
Right on, Mr. Locke.
Go ahead, Dylan.
I was going to say, it is worth mentioning as well that Friday we also get another commit versus commit matchup because Andalusia and Fat Burnett are going against Jaden Lewis as well. So another little Auburn versus Auburn.
yeah,
matchup
that's gonna be a fun one too. I know those two guys; they have a lot of respect for each other. They know each other quite well. So I mean,
Hopefully
that's gonna be a fun watch. What'd you say?
Hopefully they don't hit each other too much,
Yeah, no, they got a job to do, and they're gonna do it. I don't know if y'all saw Jaden Lewis' stats from last week, but that was ridiculous.
That 4 touchdowns?
Yeah, 4 touchdowns, like 302 all-purpose yards. He's a pretty good player.
Yeah, is that good?
Yeah, he's pretty good. But
Sources are saying Caleb Jones being our source. Daniel, floor is yours.
So, Caleb, as we all know, Auburn lost yet another high-rated recruit out of Central Phoenix City this cycle. Do you ever see this curse being broken of Central Phoenix City kids not coming to Auburn?
Man, I don't know. I think it's just gonna take the right. I want to say it's just gonna take the right kid, and I'm not saying Cam Coleman wasn't the right kid, but there were other factors that kind of played in that. Like with Texas A&M and everything like that. It's just about opportunity. And so in a way, when you do look at some of these kids and you do see, they're close to Auburn, maybe you think, okay, maybe they're an Auburn lock. But in some cases, maybe some of these kids, they haven't had a chance to really, to explore other places. I've lived in Alabama my entire life. And I've lived in Auburn for the last 5, getting a change of scenery is not necessarily a bad idea sometimes, so in some battles, maybe being the hometown team or the closest team can provide you a little bit of a disadvantage, if that makes sense. Cause maybe it's, they want to get out and explore a little bit, but I think it's just, it's a matter of time, and Central just puts out so many good recruits every year. Pat Nix has done a really good job over there, especially producing wide receivers and things like that. It's gonna be a matter of time. I think there's so many good recruits that are coming out of Central Phoenix City. You notice when you miss on one.
That's right.
And Auburn lock, those 2 words right there have been the theme of this offseason and recruiting cycle. Because there have been so many commits, starting with Cam Coleman. You go into the week before he commits. Oh, this is an Auburn lock. He's been crystal balled. He's been predicted. And then he went to A&M. Then you get to, even I think more recently, like KJ Bolden going into that week. It was like, oh, well, he had a really good Big Cat weekend. I guess he's an Auburn lock now, so he got crystal balled. He got predicted to Auburn. Is there some kind of inside thing going on where all these crystal balls and these predictions are just turning out wrong?
I mean, they're at the end of the day, these are 16 and 17-year-old kids, and you can only know so much. I mean, I'm sure we're all young enough to remember what we were like when we were 16 and 17, or right there in that kind of age range. These kids, they're making a decision that not only impacts them, but impacts their families' lives as well. This is a decision that could, it literally does change their life. Where they go to college is such a factor in how the rest of their life could pan out, just because of the talent and the work that they've put in. And it is really difficult when you have all of these coaches, telling you how much they want you to be a part of their program. So many coaches of high caliber programs that maybe you grew up watching, and there's a lot of pressure from these coaches for you to commit to their program, and you have to kind of sit back and look at, okay, well, what's the right decision for me? What's the right decision for my family? And so if you look at a guy like KJ Bolden or a guy like Cam Franklin or some of the other guys that Auburn's kind of, maybe missed out on or have been crystal balled to Auburn. It's one of those things where some of these kids won't they won't have that final decision until that very day. That some of them know about, 2 weeks, maybe a month before their commitment day. But there's a reason why why some crystal balls don't necessarily, go the way that they were predicted to. And that's because schools recruit up until the very last moment. We saw it last year with Tony Mitchell, with Tony Mitchell, who was expected to flip at some point to Auburn, particularly on early signing day. And Alabama was recruiting him hard and hard and hard up until, the night before. And he ended up going to Alabama still. You saw Keldrick Falk, who was committed to Florida State for so long. And even stayed committed to Florida State after Hugh Freeze was hired immediately and everything like that. And it took about a month for Hugh Freeze to get in there and just really build that relationship up. And on signing day, that's when Keldrick Falk made the decision. It's one of those things where for a lot of these kids, this is a huge decision. And sometimes it does come down to the last moment, so you can crystal ball as much as you want. And with some kids, you're going to have a pretty good idea of, where they're going. But with others, it's you can crystal ball all you want, but not all of them are going to be right. At the end of the day, it's a 16 or 17-year-old's decision. Recruiting is crazy because everything's always changing.
In the ever dynamic world. And Daniel, I'm going to kind of go back to your question for a second. And I want to make sure this is okay. That's fine. All right, we'll move on. I'll move forward. It's fine.
Scoob, do you think that Auburn should buy in more to being the only SEC school with the Buckies into their recruiting? Do you think they should buy more into that?
I'm not gonna lie, that graphic, I'm not a huge fan of it. I think it's silly and I think it's fun. I'm all for the fun graphics. The Penn State graphic where it says a Penn State football players appeared in every Super Bowl except for I don't
22.
know, except for 22 or whatever it was. I'm all for the fun graphics. And if you got a big fan of Bucky's or something, play into it. Sure, yeah, but it's just one of those things. It's a graphic. At the end of the day, it's fun.
Colin, I know you're eagerly waiting, but I do want to expand on Daniel's comment about Central Phoenix City. And I want to make sure everybody knows that this is in no way me interpreting anything that Caleb Jones said. In no way will he ever endorse this, nor do I expect him to. It's going to help a lot when Pat Nix isn't coaching there anymore. I'm just going to call a spade, which you would think would have the inverse effect. But I personally believe that Patrick Nix, while your head football coach is never should not and typically will not interfere too much in your recruiting process, I certainly don't think the Nix family speaks very highly of Auburn right now. And I don't know how that bridge is ever mended, if it is, unless there's a Bo Nix Jr. in 18 years. other than that, I don't know that that's feasible. So I think that it'll be things may get a little better when Patrick Nix is no longer the steering wheel of that ship there, and that sounds a little bit Barner of me, but that's just kind of how I feel. Colin, floor is yours.
So yeah, I'll bring two questions to the mix here. One is a little more important than the other one. I guess I'll let you decide on that. But so first one, I'll say any big recruits coming here. I know it's week 1, but are we playing host to any big time names? And 2, what's that Taco Bell order?
Yeah. So this weekend, don't have a complete list yet. I think most of the guys that you're going to see visiting are going to be kind of your local products, your in-state guys. This is, like you said, it's not a very big game. You're going to see a lot of the commits there, though. That a lot of them are going to be really anxious and really excited to kind of see the product that Hugh Freeze puts on the field in game 1. So you're going to see a lot of the commits kind of coming in, and then again a lot of local products, state guys or some guys that are close by. When it goes to Taco Bell, it kind of varies depending on how hungry I am and how much money's in my bank account. So I don't
Both
know.
fair.
I'll say this much: like the beefy crunch burrito's back. What am I supposed to do? Not order it? So I mean, that's what I've been doing recently. And then you have to go with the fire sauce. Obviously, anything less, you're a wimp. Anything more, respect.
Okay. Any other questions for Caleb Jones while we have him at our disposal, gentlemen?
What are the odds that the week of September 25th, after Texas A&M has signed off on the buyout check to Jimbo Fisher, that we could hear a decommitment and a commitment to Auburn from Cam Coleman?
Oh my gosh. I saw did you tweet that out or something? Or no?
Yes, I did.
Did you tweet it, or was on Twitter or Instagram or X or whatever? I don't know.
Everything.
Man. I don't know. Cam Coleman's gonna be a tough guy to pull away from A&M. But I'll say this much: losing Jimbo Fisher, or let's say Texas A&M doesn't have the greatest season in the world, or they get off to a bumpy start, and that bumpy start turns into a very bumpy season. That I do think that does help Auburn's chances, but again, it's with any SEC commit, it's gonna be tough to pull him away because Cam Coleman's a phenomenal player. Like, he's a phenomenal talent. He's so good. He's just, I don't know if y'all have seen that play from last season when Central played IMG Academy and Cam Coleman caught the ball and then proceeded to drag the entire IMG defense with him to about the 5-yard line. But that's a guy that Auburn's going to go after until signing day. Texas A&M is going to fight like hell to keep him, regardless of what happens this season, and it's going to be a fun one to watch.
Right on. Anything else for Mr. Caleb Jones?
Yeah, I got one more.
Go for it, Daniel.
When we go on the Buckies.
When we go to Buggy right now, shoot, let's go.
All right, let's do it.
Confession, this is going to be my first time in Auburn since the Buckies has been constructed this weekend. So I feel
stop there every time I go by it.
I feel contractually obligated.
I have a question now. This is non-Auburn football related. But I recently saw where Mr. Harrison Tarr took a whitewater rafting trip, and I don't know if you're listening to this. I'm an avid whitewater rafter and kayaker. If you've listened to the rundown, you know this on auburnsports.com. But Mr. Harrison Tarr, I do want to know, how did your rafting trip go? I saw where you were guiding your close friends down the mighty Nantahala River up in Bryson City, North Carolina.
Oh yeah, lots of serious class 2s, and the biggest joke of a 3 you'll ever see in your life. Did not empty the boat once. Did not lose. Nobody swam. Let a couple guys ride the bull through a couple of mid-level 2s.
All right, there we go. That's a cool guide right there.
The only person that almost went out of the boat was me.
Sometimes it'd be like that.
And to no fault of anyone other than myself for being short. Just be honest with you, my foot lost grip in front of me because I'm short, and that's really just how that went. But I did think about you a lot actually while I was out on the water. I was like, if I empty this boat, I'm never going to hear the end of it. So the only time we got hung up was after we got through the 3 at the end, and everyone was so excited that they got through a 3 that they didn't want to paddle. As you well know, it's tough when you're in a quick moving current to manually power the boat forward. So
I don't know. I think I find it pretty easy, but
I'm sure you do. Mr. I do class 5s in my sleep. Caleb, thank you so much for joining us today. Tell everybody where they can find you, love you, and support you.
Yeah, I'm over at auburnsports.com, home of the bunker, the best message board on the interwebs. Y'all come check us out over there. We got some fun stuff going on, especially now that football season's back in full swing. So that's auburnsports.com. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at CalebJ_rivals. Go over there, check me out, follow me, don't follow me, whatever. It's really up to you. So do what you want to do, I guess. Buy me Taco Bell, send me Venmos, whatever. If you want my Venmo, just message me at that point. So, but anyways, guys, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me on the loop. I'm feeling quite loopy myself right now.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, Caleb. We're gonna get you out of here, and then we're gonna tell everybody about how loopy we're feeling. Ladies and gentlemen, Caleb Jones of Rivals Auburn Sports Network. Thank you so much for joining us today, buddy. Guys, I mean, sometimes the jokes just write themselves. I mean, sometimes they do. And it is time one more time to remind everybody, Dylan, about how loopy I'm feeling. Do you want it, or do you want me to get it?
I got it a lot. You got it.
Okay.
I'll get it next
Well, there is the opportunity for you loop enthusiasts to purchase what sources are saying. Sources, trust me, bro. The greatest T-shirt known to man on planet Earth. Dylan, if you throw it up on the screen real quick for those of the folks watching the YouTube stream, we've got 5 different colorways, folks, of the most comfortable T-shirt you will ever own. It is the College Loop War Report Podcast Network co-branded Feelin' Loopy T-shirt, only available exclusive to the warreport.com. Don't worry, you don't have to type in the search bar. You can go to any one of our descriptions for wherever you're watching or listening to the podcast. You can click on the link in the description. It'll take you right there. Put in your shirt size, pick your favorite color, and get that sucker before football season starts, or for next week. It's okay if you want to wear it while you're watching the Cal game. We're not going to hold that against you. That's awesome. That's great. But we spoke to 10 out of 10. I'm going to go with audiologists that say that this actually shirt helps your hearing as well. I certainly need to wear it more than, because gosh knows I am deaf. Colin Beyersdorf, once again, an intern no longer. Tell everybody where they can find you, love you, and support you.
Whoa, Tarr.
What?
You know what time it is?
What?
It is time to
Oh my gosh, do we have one?
It's time to preview the Iron Bowl.
Oh man, you almost got me there. You almost got me there. I thought you were about to say it's time for Bagman with Beyersdorf, and I was so ready. I was so ready. You're right. We are going to preview the Iron Bowl. We're not going to spend a ton of time today on it because we're already at 48 minutes. So Colin, don't tell everybody where they can find you, love you, or do. I don't really care. We can skip you later. It doesn't bother me.
Don't follow me.
Yeah, that's actually a great call. You can't spell his last name anyways, so it really doesn't matter. Dylan, open up the floor real quick about let's talk a little bit about Iron Bowl to wrap up our season long, or I guess off-season long season preview for the 2023 Auburn Tigers.
Until next week when we preview the bowl game, so we all pick for Auburn.
We really should have scheduled this to finish last week, but anyways.
But yeah, we have now entered the last game preview, and it all planned out very nicely up until we were supposed to do it yesterday. We forgot, but we're doing it today. Hugh Freeze walks into his first season on the Plains, and he gets to welcome the Alabama Crimson Tide in Jordan-Hare Stadium in his first year as a head coach. I believe the last time did Brian Harsin. Oh yeah, I guess never mind. I was about to say the last time it was Gus Malzahn, but it was not, because Brian Harsin somehow mustered his way into that and ruined it. But Hugh Freeze has a bit of a resume when it comes to playing Nick Saban. And Auburn has a bit of a resume when they are an 8+ win team when it comes to playing Nick Saban. And it's a very interesting game to go into because right now Auburn has a quarterback. Bama does not. And I think Jalen Milroe is going to be the guy. As I think it just have yet to have announced this Milroe. But this game's going to be interesting. Currently, Auburn is given a 10.9% chance to beat Alabama, and Bama's currently a 13-point favorite. But Colin, I'll open up to you.
So, I mean, obviously, I think there's more than a 10.9% chance that Auburn comes home with this. I think it's an uphill battle. Like, obviously, Bama's Bama, and we're coming off of a tough season, but we're bringing in Hugh Freeze, who has beaten the devil. And if we make Hugh Freeze brother Hugh and Nick Saban the devil, but yeah, we're bringing that in. It's in Jordan-Hare at the end of a season. I think if you go in with 8 wins, like we've said here so many times, that is a real possibility, then you could easily pull off an upset under the lights in Jordan-Hare. Well, not under the lights. It's the Iron Bowl. But
230
point stands. We'll beat them at 230.
I like it.
If you were to go through the rankings, go through the predictions real quick. Tarr, me and you are currently at 9-2 going to the Iron Bowl. Daniel is chilling at 7-4 going
Daniel's
to the Iron
a smart
Bowl.
one here.
And Colin has Auburn at 8-3 going into the Iron Bowl. So Daniel, I'll let you say your piece.
All right. Well, this isn't me taking shots at the brothers here, but if you want sunshine pumping, you got it here, guys. I'm sorry. I got to be real with you. Probably not winning the Iron Bowl this year. You drop the 7-5. You get to go to Nashville. Yeah. Who doesn't want to go to Nashville?
You got a point.
Yeah, let's go to Nashville.
Twice in one season.
Yeah.
One of them would be a completed stadium. The other one will not be.
Well, who knows what the state of Nissan will be at that point. Nissan being a completed stadium in the first place is an overrated sentence. Yeah, Daniel, I might not finish. I might not solidify my prediction until I finish my breakdown, because I have gone back and forth, and I try to play the neutral middle ground here. Jermaine Burton's back. Kendrick Law is going to be stepping up into a bigger role. Ja'Cory Brooks. There is experience on that offensive line. Jalen Milroe, I think, will be the quarterback at the beginning of the year. It may wind up being Tyler Buckner. I really don't know. I don't know. Dylan's shaking his head because he assumes everything that ever comes out of their mouth is.
I'm just telling you, it's Milroe.
I'm telling you, at this point of the year, it may not be Milroe.
Buckner is third on that list.
Okay. Whatever. However you want to go about this.
Know your enemy, man. Know your enemy.
Yeah, okay. Would you just not take any freaking opportunity to belittle anybody else in the show? It is actually unreal. It is unbelievable.
I was noticing the same thing in January. No offense,
we
Dylan.
try
we
hard,
love you.
Dylan.
We know you.
A lot of experience on the defensive side of the ball for Bama. I mean, if you look around, senior, transfer senior, junior, graduate transfer, grad transfer, junior, senior. There is absolutely no reason that I should pick Auburn to win the Iron Bowl. I think Alabama should win the SEC West. I think that I think that they've got the pieces where they probably should. I think they lose to LSU. Do I think LSU winds up winning the West? Yeah, I think that's probably going to wind up being my final end of the year prediction, like we mentioned the other day. But it's going to come down to those two teams because they should be the predominant teams in the SEC West. All signs point to the University of Alabama winning this game. I have Auburn at 9-2 going in, which is absolutely just unequivocally false. They will probably be. I like 8-3 better, and I don't know where the third loss comes from. But damn it, I like Auburn to win the Iron Bowl. I really do. And I don't know why. I hate the fact there's going to be a graphic come out that I said Auburn's going 10-2. I really, really, really hate it. This is certainly one of those games that I said on the War Report. I said on the War Report in my toss or loss that this is a loss, because deep down in my brain of brains, I know that Alabama should win this game. But in my heart of hearts, if Auburn walks into Jordan-Hare Stadium at 2:30 on the final SEC on CBS game in the history of possibly ever. And Alabama walks in, and their season is on the line, whether or not they're going to go to the SEC championship. Auburn has 8 wins, and Hugh Freeze is on a freaking heater, 8 or 9 wins. Damn it, the Auburn Tigers are winning the Iron Bowl.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Nick Saban's going to show that in the Alabama football facility tomorrow, and you're going to fire them up for the whole season. So great job. Great job.
Here's the issue I have with
Actually,
Alabama.
as long as I get the footage that I am the reason that the Alabama got like hyped up, if they like showed that on the big screen in the film room,
That's a peak, man.
they better make sure that the watermark for the college loop is still in it.
They better all like, comment, subscribe as well. The problem I have with Alabama is the fact they did not hire the right guy at defensive coordinator.
Is the fact that you hate them.
I also do not like them very much, to the point where I will say I really hate them. But here's the thing. You fired Pete Golding left, meaning Nick Saban said, go to Ole Miss or you're getting fired. So Lane Kiffin ultimately didn't hire the right guy either, because Pete Golding did what he did and basically took a bunch of great talent and made it a very bad defense. And that was the downfall of Alabama's defense. And then they went and hired the guy who just gave up 52 points to Middle Tennessee State not 6 months ago. And something about this Bama, I think the defensive line is going to be a Bama defensive line. I think the linebacker core is going to be a little bit less than what we've seen. I think the DB room has names. Kool-Aid McKinstry, I don't think is going to be this all SEC caliber defensive back. I think he is going off of name and name alone, just because he's Alabama's primary defensive back. But he did nothing last year to really cement himself as a number 1 defensive back in college football. And I'm going past like Alabama history. I'm going college football. And he's working with Kevin Steele, who I think has definitely fallen off since he tried to backdoor Gus Malzahn. And going to the offensive side of the ball, Jalen Milroe is going to be your starting quarterback. Has he developed? We don't know really what Tommy Reese is capable of. He had 1 year at Notre Dame, and then he got scooped up by Nick Saban. And then in walks Tyler Buckner, who transferred to Alabama to be the 3rd-string quarterback for whatever reason, other than to be a backup for his offensive coordinator again. Wide receiver core. This is the least talented Bama wide receiver core we have ever seen in the Nick Saban era. Jermaine Burton is not an SEC caliber wide receiver. He had a great time at Georgia, but his time at Alabama has been nothing but disappointing for anybody that watches him. His highlight was at the end of the Tennessee game, and that's really a low light. But that's all he's going to be remembered for whenever he leaves Alabama. Running backs are going to be running backs at Alabama. It's a bunch of no-name guys who end up being named guys because the offensive line is going to be really good.
Whoa.
What?
We're not doing that.
What?
Alabama does have a history of good running backs.
No, they do. That's why I'm saying there's not a Derrick Henry coming back. There's not a Mark Ingram returning.
Okay.
There's not a. That's what I'm getting at.
Jahmyr Gibbs went to the league. Yes, go on the forward.
Like Jace McClellan might end up being the guy and being the dude at Alabama because the offensive line is really good. That's what Bama has done throughout the years, is turned guys who didn't really see a lot of experience or see a lot of playing time as much as the starting guy, but then coming back and being the star. I mean, Josh Jacobs is a key example of that. Right there. Trent Richardson after Eddie Lacy left, key example of that, or vice versa. I think it was Trent then Eddie. Both busts in the NFL. But Tarr, you brought up that you have finally decided that Auburn's going to win the Iron Bowl. I've
decided that Auburn can win the Iron Bowl.
So Tarr, you predicted that Auburn's going to win the Iron Bowl
And the
national
championship.
So,
yeah.
And this is going to be a great segment of Tarr and Dylan share a brain. Because even though you said you just did this, I've had Auburn as the favorite in the Iron Bowl for a long time now.
Yeah,
23 years,
right?
Yes, every year I do believe Auburn's going to the Iron Bowl. But going into a season with a first-year head coach, and I guess I've just been told by myself and everyone else countless times that this just screams 2013. Just screams 2013. Auburn's going to win a game they shouldn't, And I already predicted all the other games. And the games that they shouldn't win, I've already counted as losses. This is the game that Auburn shouldn't win, that they are going to win. I think Auburn is going to win the Iron Bowl in 2023 in the first year of Hugh Freeze's tenure. And he'll get his third win over Nick Saban.
Yeah, that's a great point to end the show right here as we round out an hour.
Colin, did you predict?
I don't know. I was too afraid to say we'd lose because, I like Auburn and hate Bama. But it's a tough matchup. Like you said, the running backs and offensive line, and where that is going to be Auburn's weakness is protecting against the run this season. Is just doesn't look like a great matchup, but anything can happen in Jordan Hare. But I do think Bama will take this one. Never thought I'd say that.
You and Dick Daniel are going to be so much more right than me.
10-2 supremacy.
I let Dylan Larck gaslight me all season, which means Colin, you need to tell people where to find you. Love you, support you. We got to get out of here.
Yeah, you can find me, love me, support me. Just follow my Twitter, my X, at Beyersdorf Colin, BEYERSDORF Colin.
Daniel Locke.
Oh,
Get at me on X at Daniel J. Locke, or Twitter, or Threads at Daniel Locke 121, or the Gram at
Daniel, no.
Locke. I post a lot of good photos there where you can see my handsome face and the fun adventures I get up to. You can check out my written work for 1819 News. I'm your credentialed member of the Auburn media over there. Lots of cool stuff coming out this week. Or for the Auburn Daily, Sports Illustrated's Fan Nation property covering your Auburn Tigers. Same thing with the Atlanta Braves for Braves Today. Working hard over there, and I'm looking forward to this weekend.
I know you're busting your chops. I'm Harrison Tarr, at by Harrison Tarr on the Bird app, X app, whichever you want to do. Redirects, like Dylan always says. Also, at by Harrison Tarr on Threads. If you want to come hang out over there, that'd be great. Try to get the community rolling over there, the loopers in that department. If you're watching the YouTube stream, make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell, drop your comments. We need to hear your predictions. We need to hear your hot takes. Want to hear your favorite tailgating activity. Want to hear what you're looking forward to the most about being back at Jordan Hare Stadium. Auburn football is so close, you can damn near taste it. And we are so appreciative for all of you guys that have stuck with us from the jump, from the get-go, that have been with us through the dog days of summer, getting to this point. And this week has been a total blast. Next time you guys see us, we'll be on the live stream to trump all live streams. You don't want to be anywhere else other than the College Loop YouTube channel on Thursday night, 7 p.m. Central, right after Tiger Talk. Absolutely. Listen to Andy and Brad hang out over on Tiger Talk. Great content. I'll be listening. But then hop over here to the College Loop live stream and let's talk some Auburn ball. Let's preview the season. And we've got a star-studded lineup. Dylan, let's get out of here. I'm stoked for tomorrow night.
I am too, man. That live stream is going to be so fun. And just, I guess do we need to remind everybody who's going to show up? Because I think it's worth it for everybody.
Sure.
We're going to have John Conley, our Group of 5 expert, coming on. We're going to have Vince Wolfram talking about Robbie Ashford in the quarterback room. We're going to have Ike from the War Report talking about some breakout players. We got Mike G talking about the receiver room because he loves him some J-Fair. We got Dustin from Up Tempo talking about the front seven. We got Blake from Up Tempo talking about the DBs. Jacob Hillman's going to be with the freaking stat leaders. Jacob Waters, top 5 most important games. And then you have Zach Carr doing the floor and ceiling for Auburn. And then the rest of the show is up to y'all.
Your questions.
Y'all at home. That is all up to y'all at home to decide how we're going to spend that last 20 minutes together. If we just want to sit in silence, we'll do that too. Why not?
Play the quiet game.
Exactly. But yeah, I'm Dylan Larck.
I'm glad to.
Yeah, this is going to be Taylor Swift.
What about a giant game?
Dylan Larck.
What about a giant game of Heads Up 7-Up?
Yeah, let's do that. I'm Dylan Larck at your bullet tank on Twitter. If you're looking for it, it's just right there. And of course, if you want to go down and look at the description, it's right there as well. If you don't want to try to screenshot and copy and paste it from your phone. And of course, you also have me on Instagram at Dylan Larck, DYLANLARCK. And of course, if you want to follow us here on the College Loop, you have us right here on YouTube, where you like, comment, and subscribe. Leave your predictions for the Iron Bowl. Leave your season record predictions. And who do you think is going to be quarterback by week 6?
And what is your Taco Bell order?
And what is your Taco Bell
Yes.
order as well? And of course, if you want to follow us on any social media, you have us there on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok as well. And of course, again, right here on the YouTube, where you can like, comment, subscribe. Cannot stress that enough. We're growing at an exponentially high rate, and I am loving it. And of course, if you're tired of seeing our faces, I mean, look at Tarr. I completely get it. I wouldn't want to look at that either. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music, and you can go listen to the show there. And with all of that being said, War Eagle, me and Tarr said we're going 10-2. So remember that. And this has been the College Loop Podcast.